Welcome everyone, I'm very excited today to show you my farm guide for Genshin Impact. I've been working on this guide for the past 5 or 6 days now. As you can see, I've located the locations with monsters, sometimes the white iron, sometimes special mages, and I also counted how many monsters of each type and how long it takes me to finish each of the fights. I also made a sorting table, so if you want to go with the shortest time, you can go with the ascending order for the shortest time. If you want the most chores, you can go with the chores, and if you want to go for the slime, similarly, you can do that. And lastly, there's a special one that has 2 of the boss locations, which give us the most value for fighting bosses, under 2 minutes. You can also see that I have tallied up how long it takes for the rotations of those runs. I've actually taken the longer time, so if it's 3 or 4 minutes, I've taken 4 minutes, and similarly I've taken the longer time for each of the path. You can see we can find a total of 70 trolls, 56 slimes, and 45 rogues. And in combination of all the units within 30 minutes, we're looking at over 300 loots. Very nice. While preparing for this guide, I've actually went through many of the pathways that was shared on Reddit. You can see there's one of this, there's one of that showing the different monsters, and there's one of this showing different set of monsters and different routes. After doing multiple test runs and trying on different pathways, I've eventually came to the 12 best routes for us to be farming for different materials. And this will focus on the slimes, the trolls, and the rogues for different ascension materials. So you can see over here we have the number 1, we have number 2 over here, and we have number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 12 over here. We also have 8, 9, 11 over here, and lastly we have number 10 over here. So what I'll do is I'll go through each of those with you guys with my replay, and I'll go through the tricks and tips within those routes. Now before we go into the replays, you might be wondering, why do you want to farm neutral monsters? Why don't you want to go for the chest? I'll be making a chest guide for us very soon, but the focus right now is to farm the neutral monsters because we want the ascension materials. We want items like the arrowhead from the trolls, and this can only be dropped by the troll archers, keep that in mind. And what we want is we also want the ascension materials for the weapons, because we want to prepare for the higher adventure level. As we get there, we want to have a lot of those items ready. And if you guys haven't seen the crafting bench and haven't used it for the ascension materials, I definitely recommend you have a look. Let's say if I need a particular item that is purple and I don't have those items, what I can do is I can farm for the blue items, and then if I don't have the blue items, I can farm for the green items. The monster have a chance of dropping a lot of variation of the items, usually drop in terms of the white ones and also the green ones, also the blue ones. And those are very helpful. If we collect a lot of them, and for this particular route we get over 300, so we get a lot of them this way. And within a few days I was able to get all my characters finished with Ascension with Adventure level 35. I'm preparing for level 40 now. Now if you haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so. Make sure you also turn the bell on for the latest news as I find more of them for us. You can see that we're really dedicated for Genshin Impact. We'll have builds, guides, tips, news, and events updates for everything that's Genshin Impact related. Coming over to our first location, this is located around the Stone Barrier point. Over here, you can see the one over here. And what we'll do is we'll go through the replays of this particular set. After arriving at the teleportation point for location 1, what you want to do is you might want to try to mark down the first set of trolls. You can see 3 trolls over here, and usually there's a lot of white iron mines over there. I'll be collecting those footages for the mines, and I'll make a special guide similar to this one for you guys for all the mines with crystals and white iron. After defeating those 4 trolls over here, we move to the next tag over here. You can see on my minimap where I have tagged them. After defeating the trolls, come down the hill, and what you'll find is you'll find 2 fire slimes over here with a fire and planet. After killing the slimes, come down over here for more slimes to be found. So this route is very nice for the slimes and also for the trolls. You'll see a bunch of the geo slimes. See if you can group them together to fight them. There's about 4 of them, so if you have Venti or someone that can drag them together, it's very nice. Try to not hit them off the cliff, because if you do, you won't get your loot right. So very nice loot over here. After killing the Geoslams, there is also an electric mage on this location. For the purpose of this replay, I didn't kill the electric mage, but usually I do kill the electric mage if I can. And coming over here to the last tag, you see a bunch of trolls. There's about 5 of the trolls. Try to kill them if you can and group them up. Because they are kind of arranged on an awkward side, you might want to kill one set of archers first, then the next set of archers. After killing the camp over here, make sure you climb up this mountain for another camp of trolls. There's a bunch of trolls over here on the bottom of the base of the tower, and also a few on the top. What you can do is, if you have someone like Venti that sucks them in, you can drag some of the archers from the tower down over here, and you can effectively get a lot of them killed. You don't have to go for the topmost archer because that might take too much time over here. To summarize the first location, we're looking at least 10 trolls, 7 slimes, 3 white irons or sometimes 4 or 5, and 1 electric mage. If you don't go for the iron or don't go for the mage, it can take about 3 minutes or even 2 minutes sometimes. The longest time is probably 4 minutes for me on the first location. Here we are with the second location at Greenstone Forest. This is one of my favorite locations for multiple reasons. There's a lot of geo flying cores over here you can grab when you teleport to the dungeon, and then there's a route of the slimes, the trolls, and there's so many of them to be killed for lots of good loots. So coming into our replay, what you'll see is, after teleporting towards the dungeon, make sure you're a little speedy with your collections and try to grab some of the geo slimes that is available. You don't see any on this particular replay because I've collected them just beforehand, but there's at least 4 or 5 around. So make sure you try to collect those do respawn every day. Right after you jump off the cliff, you'll see 3 slimes. After killing those 3 slimes over here, you can find a pretty nice size of the troll camp over here, with 2 of the elite trolls and a mage and a few small trolls. And by killing those, we can then move towards the islands. There are 2 ways of getting to the island. The first way is to swim on the right hand side of the island, then move towards for the rest of the trolls. You can start with the middle of the island, then move left and right as well, but I find this is one of the most efficient ways to do it because I don't have to backtrack. So there's a pack of trolls over here, very lovely and very easy to kill. 1 control spell will take all of them. Now I'll be flying or swimming over to the other side, to the middle island. There's a pack of trolls over here, actually multiple packs. You'll be seeing at least 10 or 20 trolls as you move from the bottom of the island to the top of the island. As you move further in the island, you see a lot of trolls on the side. Make sure you do taunt and drag all of them together if you can, and this way you can have the fastest clear time, and sometimes even push them into the AoE control. Having Venti on the team is really nice because he also drags the item together, so this way I can loot everything together. And finally, for location 2, make your way onto the left hand side of the trolls. There's still a little more monsters to be farmed after this particular location, but I find this is the time efficient way. To summarize our second location for the farm routes, we're looking at a total of 3 slimes and at least 20 trolls on this particular location for 3 to 4 minutes of the farm. This is one of the best locations to find your trolls and get the trolls items for the ascension. Our third location will be at Chinwin's pool over here. We'll be taking the route from the teleportation point over here up to a lot of slimes and a lot of trolls over here on this particular path. You can come down here for more of the trolls, but it's a little tedious to kill and harder to loot, so I only took half of the path over here. After teleporting to the waypoint over here, what you can do is make your way down for the first 3 set of slimes. Those are aminal slimes and they're immune to aminal damage. This can take a little longer if you don't have Vessel or someone that is a range unit. So if you want to skip the slimes, that's fine as well. After the slimes, make your way down here for a pack of trolls. Keep in mind there's a shield troll and a few of the mini ones. So killing those will take you onto the path of the bridge. And if you have trouble with the shield one, you can consider skipping him. As we make our way through the bridge, we'll see a bunch of these smaller trolls. There's 1 mage and there's 1 warrior and 2 archers, so another pack of 4 trolls again. I do try to bait them and lure them together for a better kill, but it's harder to get a mage in with everyone else. As we make our way towards the rest of the troll camps, you might see some of the mines with white irons on the side. This is also a mining location, but not one of the biggest ones. You see one of the idle shield warriors over here. What you can do is you can taunt him and run towards one of the other camps. He usually charges far enough for you to actually group him together with the rest of the camps. So over here I'm checking, I can see a pack of 4 trolls over here. I'm gonna do my AoE damage and I drag him over here for a good kill of 5 trolls together with the fire and aminal. After killing those pack of trolls, we're left with 2 more camps. You can come down, you can come to the side, it doesn't matter. Make sure you aim towards the mage, which is usually the most durable one, but if you go for the shield warrior, that's also okay. So there's a bunch of trolls over here with a mage, shield warrior, and a bunch of the small ones. And finally, the last camp on this particular location is a camp with the trolls, the mages, and the shield warrior. Same as before, we try to drag them together for more AoE damage, and if you can, try to do some of the elemental combinations on the grass as well. To summarize the findings with location 3, we can see there are 3 slimes and about 15 trolls on this particular location. There can be a few more, I might have miscounted, and it will take us about 3 to 4 minutes. 4 minutes if you do take everything and kill everything, about 3 minutes if you skip the slimes. So this is not bad, but compared to location 2, this can be a little less. That's why I love location 2 over there. Location 4 is our next farming path. You can see this one starting with this particular teleportation point. There's a bunch of humanoid rogues over here, and there's a rogue camp on this particular hill. It's like a rogue nest. There's a lot of them over here. After coming to the waypoint, make your way down and fly across the building, and you see a bunch of rogues over here. Sometimes some of the rogues are invisible, so make sure you do come over and try to hit them. Over here, I did try to catch the rogues on the road. There's some of them on the road as well if you're lucky enough, but those are the patrolling ones. Sometimes you might not be able to find them. If you do find them, catch them first and you get a bonus of 3 more rogues. But for the sake of our calculation, we didn't add them into the counts of the rogues. But if you do get them and get the ones at the house. So there's 6 rogues in total over here. After clearing those 6 rogues, what you want to do is, you want to come over here for the rogue nest. So there's a few mountains to climb, and each time you climb up one stage, you see a bunch of rogues. There is also a few treasures within the house if you haven't been there, at least 2 to 3 chests. After clearing out each camp of the rogue, make your way to a higher level, and you'll find yourself with 4 more rogues on each of the side. So keep going up, you'll eventually find yourself with 12 rogues in total. And here we are, you can see one of the chests over here, make sure you grab it. I do believe the common ones do respawn, so as you're farming rogues, if you see the chest like this, go for it and then come back next time to see if you see one more. At the same time, this will be our final rogue location. This is what I mean by the rogues being invisible. You start to see only one archer, then a few of the invisible ones appear next to him. Location 4 is one of the best locations to find a lot of rogues in a short amount of time. You can see over here, the summary for rogues is about 16 rogues for 3 minutes, and this is a very good value for the rogue find over here with the tally table over here, one of the best rogue locations. Location 5 is a mixture of slimes and rogues, and I'll show you guys a quick replay of those two. After arriving at the teleportation point, what you can do is make your way down towards a little pond over here. You start to see 4 of the coiled slimes over here. What you can do is try to taunt them and try to get them to run towards you. As you taunt the slimes and they run towards you, they will create an ice pathing, so this way you can stand on the ice and fight them. If you do have someone like Venti that drag them together, it's even nicer, because this allows you to kill them quickly and without having to go to everywhere to get the loots. After killing the slimes, make your way down the mountain towards a hidden rogue camp. From above, you don't see many rogues because a lot of rogues are actually invisible. Once you land on the camp, you actually start to see more of them as they come out of invisibility like this. So there's a total of 6 or 7 rogues over here, and it's a really nice place to catch more of them. And for a small tip with the rogues, if they do blind you, make sure you cast the Aminal skill, they'll take you off the blind. Next up, we have location number 6 for more rogues to be found. You can find a bunch of rogues as you teleport off this waypoint, and a few more as you run a little further down the road. As we get to the teleportation point, fly downwards and you should be able to see a rogue camp over here. Same as before, try to land and see how many rogues there are, sometimes they're invisible as well. You can see that after arriving to the rogue camp, more rogues do appear because it was invisible, and there's quite a few of them, I think at least 6 of them over here, and it's a very nice camp as well. After killing the camp of 6 rogues, we'll make our way towards another site for rogues. The focus on rogues is that they're humanoid units and they're easy to be controlled. Other units also drops what the rogue drops, but not as easily killed as those. So we find ourselves with another 3 rogues over here, making this round one of the quickest rounds for more rogues. Out of the 12 farming routes, location 7 is a special one. If you come back over here, what you see is there are 2 of the hedgehogs, or the Sonic I got them, over here with 3 of the flowers. Those are the special ones because you can usually find those particular monsters over here with your boss list. You can see them in the labyrinth section, and if you start to take down the monsters, you can see the Sonic over here, you can also see the Fire Whopper. The reason I included those 2 particular camps over here is because this is by far one of the quickest ways to get a lot of them together. After arriving to the teleportation point of location 7, make sure you make your way downwards. Don't come over here, I don't think it's worth it to go for the side camp, just making your way down here is enough. You see 2 of the hatchlings, you'll see 3 of the whopper flowers. Right after arriving to the teleportation point, look around you. Sometimes they're on the left, sometimes they're on the right of the teleportation point. Make sure you group them together if you can and do a lot of AoE spams before they start to do their sonic tricks. Because once they do their sonic tricks, it's hard to catch them, they're super fast. But if you happen to be able to kill them fast enough, they can't spin fast. And you can see the other one spinning around like this. It's really hard to catch him while he's spinning. After taking care of the sonic, come to the location that is shown over here on the map, and what you see is there are 3 hidden whopper flowers. What you can do is go for the flower that is on the far right and try to drag all of them together this way. If you don't go for the far right flower, you will be like me, you only drag 2 of them, the last one will not move. So go for the one that's on the far right, and this way you can be able to drag all 3 of them together. This is the best way to get 5 bosses within 2 minutes, and you don't have to hunt and locate each of the boss by yourself, and it's more efficient this way as well. Now that we had a look at the trolls and the rogues, we'll look at the slimes now. Location number 8 takes us to a lot of slimes, and followed by location number 9, we'll find more slimes this way as well. After coming over to the waypoint, make your way downwards, and what you're going to see is, you're going to see a happy little pyro slime family. There is going to be a family of 7 pyro slimes, and they are perfectly formationed in this way for you to AoE them and kill them together and loot them together. I love those slime formations actually. After killing the pyro slimes, make your way down between the 2 of the walls over here, between the 2 mountains, and what you want to do is you just want to run on this pathway. The geo slime will appear as you arrive on the location. So there's 2 of them over here, there's 3 of them after those 2. The idea is the geo slime will not spawn unless you walk on the location, and if you walk on the location, they will spawn on top of you. It's always the same location. And you can see over here the geo slime respawns on this particular point of the map, and they're right next to this edge. So make sure you grab the 2 before that and the 3 after this to make yourself a total of 12 geo slimes within 2 minutes. Similar to location number 8, we're going for slimes for location number 9 over here. What you do is make your way towards the teleportation point, and then as you fly downwards, you're gonna see a pack of trolls. There are 3 trolls over here if you want to kill them. If you do not, just make your way down to the lower point of the mountain and kill the slime pack as well. There will be 7 slimes down the hill. As you fly downwards after killing the trolls, what you're going to see is you don't see as visually as the slimes because those are the dendro or the natural slimes. They're hiding underground. But if you do an AoE spell, you'll be able to drag all of them together, and there are 7 of them in total to be farmed. In total for the location 8 and location 9, we're looking at least 19 slimes and maybe 3 trolls if you go with them. And they usually take about 1 to 3 minutes together. Next up, we'll have more rogues. Just in case if you're needing more rogue materials, you can make your way towards the Genshin village over here on this particular teleportation. And as you go through the bridge, there will be 2 small rogue camp. This will take you about 1 to 2 minutes, and usually those are really quick camps for you to find some rogues. It's pretty straightforward after you get to the teleportation point. Just make sure you don't do what I do sometimes, just run off the bridge. You do want to go onto the bridge. There's a few birds if you want to shoot them. There's some of the porcupines over here. And make sure you fly over for the 2 rogue camp. One of the camp is over here with about 2 rogues, and the next camp is over there with at least 4 or 6 rogues over there. As you make your way towards the rogue camp, what you start to realize is a lot of rogues are on the edge. If you use a trick to push monsters off the edge, they will take extra damage. But the downside is, if they fall too far off the edge, you won't be able to grab the loot. So use that with caution. Location number 11 has some of the best trolls to be found, and also is located very nicely next to 2 or 3 mines. So if you're going for minerals, if you're going for the trolls, this is one of the best locations. You can make the route like this and make sure you go through the mining mountains of the mining caves and come across to more of the trolls over here. After arriving at the waypoint over here, make your way to the first troll camp. Those trolls are the ones that is guarding the cave for the mines. So killing them effectively open up the mine for you as well. There's a few of them, and there's some really good loot as you go into the trolls and as you kill them for the mines. As you run across the mine, what you can do is you can go for some of the iron ores, but if you don't need them, you can skip them as well. And after coming out of the mine cave, make your way down under the mountain. You can see down here, you'll see another troll camp. There will be following a number of troll camps after this one. What we'll do is we'll try to clear all of them and for the maximized potential of getting the trolls. The second pack of trolls over here are pretty spread out. What you can do is, you can try to lure the ones that's on the side and lure the mini ones together to try to AoE them together. If you cannot, the troll mage here is a natural mage. It's going to summon some of those tentacles. If you land on them, they'll push you away. So just to be a little careful of that, nothing too special. And finally, you should arrive at a large troll camp over here. You'll see a melee taunt shield unit, a few of the archers, a bunch of the units on the side. Make sure you come over to drag all of them together and then start your spells. You're probably looking at least 6 of them, and if you can do your spells quick enough and AoE them fast enough, you can kill a lot of them before they even get to do anything to you. And finally, we're at location number 12. I've actually saved the best to last. If you had a look at location number 12, you're looking at least 20 slimes, 6 rogues, 2 troll mages, and even an electric mage if you decide to kill her. This will take about 4 to 5 minutes. It's slightly longer, but it's definitely worth it. After getting to the teleportation point, you'll see 3 rogues right under you. Make sure you kill them before you make your way down towards the lower part of the cliff, and this should be pretty easy. Just make sure you don't push them off the cliff again and you have to loot under the mountain. As we fly downwards, you will see one electric mage at the bottom of the mountain. You can choose to kill her, but if you don't need to kill her, just go for the rogue camp right after. You'll see a bunch of rogues, and by killing them, you can move towards to find the best place for slimes. After taking care of this particular small rogue camp, we'll make our way towards the slimes. What we want to do with the slime is we want to collect them together and try to AoE them together if we can. So the first pack of the slimes is on your right, on the corner of the cliff, and there's 4 of the cryo slimes. As we make our way towards the coast over here, you might see some of the white iron mines that's around. Make sure you go for those if you're short on those, and this is what I meant by collecting the slime together. Notice I'm trying to hit them together, and you see there's at least 6 of them around. Try to drag them all together. They do have enough distance for you to drag them around, and once you do, you can try to kill all 6 of them together. As you come across to the next section of the slimes, be aware there are 2 of the troll mages around. Those mages are quite rare usually. They usually come with 1 at the troll camp, only 1 of those, and if you're really short on mage items, this is a really good way to get 2 of the mages. And they also don't have any special ads that's protecting them, so just mages, and they're quite straightforward. And after killing those 2 mages, what you're going to see is more slimes. This is one of my favorite slime locations because those slimes are hydro slimes. They are very vulnerable to everything. Electric, aminal, pyro, everything you name it, cryo, you can do everything to the slimes and they can't fight back. And as you kill the pack of the slimes next to the mage, be aware there's 3 more slimes at the end of the coast. So make your way towards there to find yourself 3 extra slimes. For location 12, we're looking at least 20 slimes and also 6 rogues and also 2 troll mages. This is one of the longer routes, but it's one of the most rewarding ones as well. And finally, we have finished all 12 of the locations. I have tested and tried a lot of the other locations. I feel some of them are too long, some of them are not consistent. Those are some of the best locations I found, and it did take me a few days of work to collect and also to collect the footages and also to count the monsters as well, and also to time myself. So eventually we're looking at least 177 units, and sometimes you get 1 more, 1 less. And the loots I'm estimating to be at least 300 because most of the monsters drop at least 1 or 2 loots, sometimes even 3. So you might get the tier 1 loots, you might get the blue ones, you might get the green ones. To summarize this comprehensive guide video, hopefully you guys see the purpose of highlighting each of the monsters and the time requires. If I'm short on time, what I can do is I can sort out my time required to take those routes. I can go for location 9 and 10 first, I can go for the shorter ones first. If I'm really short on the trolls, what I can do is I can find them for the best troll locations. Similarly, I can go for the slimes, I can go for the rogues. So this table is a startup of a work in progress. As I find more routes, I'll add them to the list. As I find better farms with different monsters, I'll add them for us as well. So this way, if you're short on something, come over here and actually list things yourself. You can also organize this and list things yourself as well, similar to what I did with the Sonic ones. If you go with the boss camps, you can also add them into the table as well. Now before we finish, make sure you guys let me know if you have a better farming route or if you have any tips and farming guides for the monsters to be found. I'm sure there's a lot of methods to allow for better farms over here on the teleportation point or on the Storm Terror side. personally, I'm using less of the time to farm monsters. I want to get the most value out of it. So I think this is a good way to start off with about 30 minutes for 300 loots. And in the future, we'll go deeper with maybe another 30 minutes for additional loots with more loot farming guides. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also turn the little bell on for the latest news. I'll be looking towards to make more builds, guides, tips, and news and event updates for us as we come further into the game. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck with Genshin and have the most fun in exploring this wonderful world.